Hi everyone, my name is Julian Javor, also known as Pilot Julian J, and I'm really excited to be partnering with the Hit Living Foundation's Paws for Kids program. It is a program that is designed to enrich the lives of underprivileged children, and tonight, to introduce this partnership, I'm going to be reading to you guys Belly Rubbins for Bubbins, the story of a rescue dog by a good friend of mine, Jason Krause. You guys are going to love it, so let's get started. There once was a puppy named Bubbins. All he wanted was belly rubbins. Look how happy he is. He grew up in a house where his owners were mean. He barely ate and was never kept clean. Bubbins did tricks, never barked, and he behaved each day. But when he'd roll over for belly rubbins, they'd shoo him away. But Bubbins always believed and continued to say, "I'm going to get a loving family one day." To the corner, they said, where he sat quiet and sad, no one rubbing his belly, though he hadn't been bad. Bubbins laid on the hard floor, and he cried and cried, until his owner pointed and yelled, "Get outside!" But Bubbins always believed and continued to say, "I'm going to get a loving family one day." Outside in the yard, and behind a tall fence, he had many tough experiences which to him didn't make sense. Bubbins lived outside for nearly 10 years, but somehow stayed loving, despite his fears. Every day he told himself that he would be okay, even in these hard times. He would find a way to play. But Bubbins always believed and continued to say, "I'm going to get a loving family one day." Lonely and forgotten was the 10-year-old Bubbins, no one to love him or give him belly rubbins. But Bubbins always believed and continued to say, "I'm going to get a loving family one day." One sunny morning, Bubbins awoke to find his gate left open. He'd never been outside the yard, but his spirit was unbroken. He barked adios to the only place he had ever known. Smiling wide, he peed on the fence and was free to roam. There's Bubbins breaking free. Walking down the street, people to the left and the right. A nice man saw Bubbins and decided to treat him right. "Hey there, little buddy. You've got no parents or caller. I'm going to take you to the shelter, so please don't holler." Bubbins jumped into the big green truck. The nice man drove away, he said. "I'm taking you somewhere you might get a loving family one day." At the shelter, a very thankful Bubbins lived for nearly a year, people passing by the proud old dog with Bubbins, shedding only a tear. But Bubbins always believed and continued to say, "I'm going to get a loving family one day." Bubbins never gave up, and one day a young couple appeared, a woman with a friendly smile and a big man with a beard. The woman turned to the man and said with a sigh, "I can't help but feel bad for this poor little guy. He's been through so much, and still, look at that happy face. He deserves a home. Let's get him out of this place." Bubbins jumped to his feet as the door swung open, tail wagging so fast he was finally chosen. He knew deep down in his heart that he was finally okay, because he'd been adopted by a loving family today. As he left the shelter, he thought of all his pals. They all deserved homes, even the ones with the scowls. As he looked back at the shelter, he saw all the volunteers gathered. Bubbins loved them so much because they showed him that his life mattered. Bubbins' tongue flapped out the window the entire ride. The man and woman smiled and looked on with great pride. Arriving at his new home, Bubbins ran through the door. The first thing he saw were many new toys on the floor. Look at that happy face. A new family to show love. They named him Bubbins. He rolled on his back, and they gave him belly rubbins. The end. So I just wanted to share with you guys, as I mentioned, the author of this book, Jason Krause, is a good friend of mine. This is Jason and his lovely wife, Mick, and Bubbins. And we have a dedication here that I'd like to read. This book is dedicated to the millions of abused dogs who have no voice to tell their own stories, for their ability to love unconditionally, for the truly good people that work to rescue and shelter these forgotten souls, and for the loving families that rescue and oftentimes become rescued themselves. For all bully breeds out there, including the well-known pit bull, this book shows your true loving nature, resilience, and ability to forgive and forget. A special thanks to you, and in loving memory of my second grade teacher, Kevin Hodkiss, for teaching me that it was cool to be kind. May you rest in peace knowing that you made a difference in many lives. Thank you to the Associated Humane Society of Newark, New Jersey for saving Bubbins when he was found wandering the streets with several injuries. Thank you to the individuals and organizations that posted him on social media in the hopes of finding him a home. And thank you to the Green Mile Rescue and Animal Clinic of Morris Plains, New Jersey for taking in Gibson, aka Bubbins, allowing us to make him part of our family and providing support afterwards. None of this would have been possible without all of you. So that is Belly Rubbins for Bubbins, the story of a rescue dog. There is actually a sequel of the book, Belly Rubbins for Bubbins, His First Day Home, which perhaps I'll be reading to you guys at some point. But I hope that you've enjoyed this book in the meantime. And as someone who works in rescue, I just want to say that it is really, truly remarkable and inspiring the way dogs are able to forgive and forget, and all they want is to love and be loved. So I hope you guys have enjoyed.